Hi, welcome to Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve. I'm sorry, Steve. Okay, we having a little technical difficulty. Bear with it.
What's going on? What's
Steve?
going on? Welcome to Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve. I am Steve. What's going on,
Hello?
Tamika? What's going on, Tamika? Look like you are having some technical difficulties. All right, what's going on, guys? While Tamika gets that situation taken care of, we got a great guest. Man, I'm telling you, with everything that's going on in the world today, with the COVID-19, race relations, I mean, everything you can think of, we have a guest all the way. Now, if you don't know the history about South Africa, just read up on it. This is not the place to talk about it, but our guest was so gracious enough to come on our show, stay up to 3 a.m. to come on this broadcast. So we're going to show her some love. I'm waiting for my partner. She's having, again, some technical difficulties, so you're going to have to excuse us. But I'm going to give our guest the VIP treatment. Here we go. Aimee, what's going on?
All good, hey? How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Aimee from Young Kidney Donor, CEO, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Wow. Thank you for taking the time to come on this broadcast right here in the United States, Aimee.
It's such a pleasure. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, to spread the awareness of kidney disease, because we have the same thing in common. I mean, I'm black, you're white. I mean, that's the only difference between us. But we have the same thing in common, which is tackling kidney disease.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's so important what we're doing to get the awareness out, because the more people that do know, the more lives can be saved, the more people can share their spare. So this message is really important. You're right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Aimee, before we hear your story, how is the prevalence of kidney disease in South Africa? Is it like the United States, where the transplant list, you have more people on the list than you have donors?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, my mother was waiting. She was just started on dialysis 4 years, and in that time, she had nobody coming forward.
Wow.
I didn't even know where she was on the waiting list, but she definitely wasn't at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely more on the waiting list than there is donors. Yeah.
Now, with the dialysis in South Africa, are there a lot of clinics? Like here in the United States, especially in Southern California, there's literally a dialysis clinic on every corner because of the high rates of diabetes and hypertension. And then you got a lot of fast food restaurants. Is it like that in South Africa as well?
No, so we mainly just have your public hospital, your private hospital, and in the hospitals basically are the only dialysis units. There's not a separate, standing building on its own just for dialysis. So you need to go to a hospital in order to, go into the unit and dialyze type of thing. So it's not as prevalent, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guys, share this video, share this broadcast. We are fortunate enough to have Aimee all the way from Cape Town, South Africa, to share the dialysis experience in South Africa. Tamika, thanks for getting your internet fixed. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, I can hear you well.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. The devil is a liar, as Lisa would say. I said the devil is a liar, what Lisa would say.
Yes. Every time we have, a good show, it's always something. But
Yeah.
I got to fix. I moved to the front.
Okay. So, Aimee, can you just share your story of how you became up to be the CEO of Young Kidney Donors? How did your story begin to lead you to there?
Okay, so basically, it was after having gone through the whole process of donation, right? I remember one of the check-ins that I had gone for, like the evaluations before I was getting worked up, was to see the gynecologist. And I remember sitting there with her. She was just asking me, because she knows that at the time I was a year younger than what I am now. But she was aware that I'm fairly young, and what is my take on this whole process? As what am I feeling? What am I going through? Type of thing. What is my mental and emotional state like? And I felt at that time, I felt very strongly about the lack of support that I was receiving as a kidney donor being worked up to donate. And I thought to myself, like, this can't be. I mean, I see things on the internet, I see things overseas, such as the US. There's a lot of support, there's a lot of backing, there's a lot of, NGOs such as yours that bring about the awareness to kidney donation as well as the importance. And then, just giving the support to those that are going through the process. And I felt very much isolated. I felt alone. I had no one to talk to. I wasn't handed from the beginning a piece of paper, or just taken like through the steps of, these are the different tests you'll be going through. This is what's going to come next. This is why you're going through what you're going. This is what's going to happen afterwards. I mean, I was pretty much in the dark. And like, don't get me wrong, the medical field here is rightfully trained, they're rightfully equipped to perform what they need to perform, but they lack that personal experience that I was so longing for. And I needed to hear it from someone else. I needed to hear it from people who've been through the same thing, or not even been through the same thing, but know of others, or can somehow relate to my experience, to just like, answer those questions that I had. I literally just wanted my answers. I just wanted my questions to be answered. And I was chatting to the gynecologist and saying, like, something needs to be done about this. Like, I'm going through this process for the first time. How many others have gone through it and been feeling the same way I'm feeling? How many more will go through it if something's not done about it? So I then said to myself, like, I need to do something about it. I don't want this something, donating kidney. I don't want something to happen and then gets pushed under the carpet, and 2 years down the line, oh hey, I'm a kidney donor. What did you do with what you went through? I wanted to use what I've been through so that somebody else, didn't have to go through that. They didn't have to feel that isolated feeling of what is going to happen next. So I thought the best way that I could do it was use social media. Basically, everybody's on it nowadays, and just create some sort of platform where I can, in the beginning, I thought, just share my story, because through my experience, which is what I wanted, somebody else can, hectic, this is what life is like with one kidney. And hopefully that will move them also to share their spare. And then also in the long run, just getting other people on the line, getting others to share, because the more people is in this initiative, the more people are aware of this platform, the more others will, this is it, more people will be reached, more traffic on the page. So that's basically why I started what I started.
Now, how did your mom, she was on dialysis?
Yeah, she was.
What caused her kidney failure?
She had I don't even know how to say this word. Glomerulonephritis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she actually funny, like she had no symptoms or anything beforehand. She was basically going for a new policy screening, and then they had to do, the medical checks and so forth. And they found, oh, but there's actually blood in your kidneys, which is not supposed to be there. And then that's how they became aware of, the kidney disease.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And
So
now you said she. Oh, go ahead, Tamika.
now I was going to ask, was she in center or home doing treatment?
She started off with in center for 2 years, but then I'm sure you know with dialysis it's side effects. So it started thinning out our arteries. And it was more difficult the catheter was blocking up the whole time because she had one on her, and then she's went over to PD for 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. And how did she like PD? I'm sorry, how did she like PD?
She quite liked it, although I don't know how we as a family felt about it, because even though she wasn't having to go in center and spend 4 hours there 3 times a week, she was now having to do it every 4 hours, and we couldn't go too far away from home because she needed to come back. And I mean, that itself, there was issues with the fluid on her lungs and so forth. So
Okay, so the PD caused the fluid on the lung?
yeah. So she was what is the word? She was a fast, basically her body. So with PD you have to drain in a certain amount of fluid, and then you have to drain that same amount afterwards. So her body was basically holding extra on more than she was draining at the end. So then it started bloating her up. Yeah.
Okay. So what did they do about that? Did they, if anything?
They gave her medication to dry that up, and then I remember at some point she had to, because her heart function started dropping, so they were considering putting her on stents in the heart. But I mean, she wasn't keen for that because a lot of the patients in center had stents put in, but they passed away. So she wasn't keen. But as far as I know, I think the only thing that was done was given medication to kind of dry up that fluid, and then give a stronger bag that would pull more. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Aimee, what made you decide to donate to your mom later than sooner?
I initially had started. Okay, so she was diagnosed in 2014, but then she started on dialysis in 2015, and I came forward 2015, but I think I was just under 20 at that stage. I'm just turning 20, and my father and mother was not keen on that because I had just begun with my undergraduate studies, and they wanted me to finish that off and just see my studies through. And the doctors also weren't very keen because they said that I have no medical history in terms of any sort of diseases and that sort of thing. So they couldn't see basically, would I develop diabetes or high blood pressure. I mean, I've only lived for a certain amount of years. They don't have any they don't have any history of any illnesses, so they wanted to make sure that I was at an age that, should we go forward with this, that I've lived a significant amount of years and wouldn't be missing out on anything, and they would be able to say, okay, I think it's safe for her to donate at this point. Or but it was mainly just the fact that I was young. They weren't aware of what diseases could potentially come up in the future, and I just started with my studies. Yeah.
Wow. How's your mom doing now?
She's doing good. She's living her best life. Living her best life. Gosh, it's so nice to see her so free, eh? Like, we were here in the days that she dialyzed at home, and just taking it into center and just seeing that, just being chained to like the machine and having it filter your blood. It's not, I mean, I can't picture or imagine what it must have been like for her to just constantly be plugged up and have these tubes and going through my stomach and sitting there draining it. So, I mean, she's free. She's living her best life, literally living it.
So what is it like
Wow,
having?
that's awesome.
What is it like having just one kidney after donating one?
To be honest, it's not much different at all. I asked myself the same question before I donated, like what would life be like afterwards? Would I see any significant change? Would I feel anything differently? Would I need to change some, my lifestyle and so forth? And I have yet to see that change. It's something that I can't see, so I don't think about it as much. But if I had to maybe see it and a diagram has to be put up of my internal organs, and I'd see, okay, there was one a year ago, now there's not one. It's just one left. But I mean, I don't see. I still live normal. I haven't made any changes besides the fact that I have to watch my salt, I have to watch my sugar, I have to increase my water, watch alcohol consumption, smoking, be physically active, more intentional about what I do. But as opposed to that, it's as normal. I mean, you're looking at me, you would have never said that I have one kidney. So, I mean, yeah, it's no different to than having two kidneys. And that's why it's good for you to know these things, because, it comes to the point of asking yourself, would life be different should I want to feel moved to donate?
Right.
It's not any different.
What did you feel after you gave the kidney? Like after you had your surgery, did you feel any different?
Can you say that? Ask me again, please.
I'm sorry, I said after you had your surgery, after you donated after you donated your kidney to your mom, right after surgery, what did you feel, if anything?
I felt like what just happened? Did that just happen? It was emotional, and it was like a moment of joy as well, because
Wow.
I had woken up in ICU and was awaiting my mom. So, I mean, I was also not educated on this. I thought both of us go into the operating room. I'm on the one bed, my mom's on the other bed, and the kidney gets moved directly as soon as it, leaves my body, goes to hers. But I was first prepped, and then I came out before her, and she was in about 2 hours after I'd woken up still. And when I eventually come around, my dad was sitting next to me, and my first was my mom out of the operation? How is she doing? And he said, no, she's still in the operating room. She's still in surgery, but she's doing well. She's stable. They've now just closing her up. The kidney's into her body. The kidneys accepted it. And I felt like a big sigh of relief, that overwhelming feeling beforehand, because the doctors made it clear to me, there's no guarantee that her body will accept your kidney. I mean, if it doesn't, there's nothing that we can do. For me, it was going to be, was that a waste then? But just that whole realization of my kidney is in her body. My kidney's working in her body now, acting as a kidney should. and she's 100%. She's better than what she went into the operating. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So when you talk to people about being a living donor, what kind of questions do they ask you?
The first one, as you a few minutes ago, is, so what is it like living with one kidney? Is there any difference? Those are the questions, the most common questions that people ask me. So, like, what is it like? And then, like, lifestyle. What change have you seen since you donated? How is the pain factor? Can you do things as you did beforehand? What is your eating habits like?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few that go as far as, like, can you still have children? Can you still do what you wanted to do?
Mm-hmm.
Your physical exercise, how is that like? So, yeah, I think it's important for people to ask me such questions, because the more they ask, the more they get informed, and the more they become aware of the process of living donation and what is it like. And I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
Have anyone of your age group that you met decided to donate a kidney to someone?
No, I don't know of anybody.
Not of yet. We're just gonna say not of yet.
Yes,
Because
yes,
will
yes.
come. The more that you talk about it, the more you may inspire people to, go ahead and donate.
Yeah. No,
You
definitely.
know,
Like you said, we don't know of anybody. So
right. That was very noble of you, though, to do that for your
thank
mom.
you.
I know that she's very, very appreciative. She's very appreciative.
Yeah, they make it. They tell me now and then of how thankful they are for what I did.
Yeah. Did you have to go through a sorry, did you have to go through a psych evaluation
I
prior
did,
to
yes. Yeah.
how was that?
Um, it was a bit traumatic for me. But if we can speak about how well, the social work, because I saw a social worker, and then also the transplant coordinator, how well they are performed to bring across what they need to. And they are professionally trained and equipped to do what they do. And I, on the other hand, was really good at masking that trauma, that trauma I was experiencing going into this. Because on the one hand, I remember that it got to the point, like I said, where my mother's heart function was dropping, and so it needed to happen now, or she was going to be taken off the waiting list. And it was basically, I was the last person that would be able to donate. And so there was a lot at stake if this should not fall through, if I had not to pass the psych evaluation. So my father made it clear that you need to look as if you have no doubts, you are sound in, this is the decision that you want to make. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to make this decision. I wanted to help my mom, I wanted to save her, but I wanted my questions to be answered. And I also was made aware that if I ask too many questions, it may seem as if I'm doubting it. I don't want to go forward with this procedure. So I was sitting there and I was holding back all the questions that I had. And I was just going through the motions of answering the questions as best as I could without having too much emotions attached to it. So it was a bit of a traumatic experience for me.
What is one of the greatest takeaways from this ex, from this experience that you would like to tell other young people?
I see my mom every day. She's alive and she's breathing and she's she's able to live, you know, a dialysis-free life. She's not having to go in center. I mean, she's got medication that she needs to take, but I mean, that's nothing compared to what she had gone through. And I always tell myself, and I'd like to tell others as well, like the amount of fulfillment that you feel, and you know, just seeing your mother there, or seeing whoever it is that you will potentially donate to, if it is that you would like to donate, seeing them there, knowing that you've improved their life, their quality of life, making sure that you know that they're able to live a bit longer on this earth is
That is
it's
a great
over.
idea.
Nothing comes
That is
close.
good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
nothing
I
comes
bet.
close.
Wow. So, have you noticed your mom's skin color change?
Yeah,
Go back to
no,
normal? Isn't that
yeah.
crazy how that happens?
I just
It's
told
like
her this. Yeah,
it's
no,
like
say.
all of the toxins just go away and her
Yeah,
skin color comes back.
yeah, yeah. You're right. I was just telling her this evening, like your skin's looking so nice. Like it's one color. Like she had a lot of pigmentation over her face, but now
Mhm.
like it's so smooth and it's so clear and it's like it's brightened up. It's like
Wow.
glowing,
It's glowing.
and
Wow.
that's
So
amazing.
it is. That's because when the kidneys are not working, it can't excrete the toxins. So a lot of times the toxins go up,
One color.
you
Like she had a
know.
lot of.
So wow. Did she notice the change in her skin?
She didn't. I don't think she noticed, like especially on her cheeks, but she definitely noticed under her eyes, because like her eyes were sunken in, and there was just like dark circles on dark circles underneath the eyes. So she's noticed that it's no longer as dark as it was before. But I
Wow.
noticed like the on especially on her forehead and on her cheeks. Yeah,
Wow. All that from a kidney transplant. The
Wow.
change of the color and it's crazy.
it's amazing. It really is.
Hmm. Yes, it's
Share
so
this
amazing.
video, share this broadcast. Aimee,
Uh,
I wanted to ask you, um, doing something as noble as you did for your mom,
mhm.
did you have any, or did you experience any psychological impact of donating your organ, even though it was your mom? Did you have any psychological challenges afterwards?
Definitely. Yeah. Um.
And can you share that with our audience to, or let people know what donors go through psychologically behind donating one of their organs? It's not just bip bam, thank you, ma'am, and it's all
Yeah.
over. The donors, I'm sure, go through something
Yeah.
that a lot of people aren't aware of, or they may not even discuss. Can you just shed light on maybe some of the mental health issues, if any, that you may have experienced as a result of donating to your mom? And I mean, we know you did it out of love, but you still can't stop the the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mental aspect that may come behind that of just donating your kidney.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it didn't start before. I mean, it didn't start after I donated. Was going on a bit before I was being worked up, and there was a date that we were working towards. It started then even. I mean, I was kind of, as I was telling Tamika, I was kind of being told that I need to just reserve my questions, and that really started working on me, because I just needed to talk through with someone about it. I just needed someone to just sit down with me, take me through the steps that I was going to be going through, what will I be experiencing emotionally as well as psychologically, before as well as afterwards, just to clear up that anxiety I was experiencing, that fear of what if I don't wake up, what if my mother doesn't wake up, what if you know I get high blood pressure, I develop kidney disease. What if I need a kidney? What if, I need to go on dialysis? I mean, I can't picture for the life of me sitting in a bed being plugged up to a machine, having to filter my blood. Like that for me was a mental block at some point. And then afterwards, I can't think of it more when people would just ask me 1 week after, the operation, people would call me, people would come visit me. They'd ask me, so what is life like with one kidney? Or they make jokes about it. Like they'd say, oh, you can't eat that because it's too much sugar. And it's just a joke, but I would get so triggered. Like I'll go to my room and I'd sit there and I'd just cry. Like I felt so raw. I felt so, I'm not ready to talk. I'm not ready to deal with what I'd been through. It was kind of like everything was so quickly moved through from the time that I did my first evaluation till after the operation was done. It was like, I think in the space of maybe 3-4 months that it just went so fast. And I hadn't time to process all of that properly, that the time somebody asked me a simple question, probably they didn't even mean to offend me in any way, upset me, I would get triggered and I would go and think, did I make the worst decision of my life? Did I, what if my child, what if I can't have children? What if I have children, but my child needs one? What if I need a kidney? So, I doubted it. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't easy. It was never an easy process to start with, a decision to make. I have the right to be selfish also. I didn't want to willingly give my kidney away because that whole thing of what if I need it? What if somebody that I, give birth to and my child needs it in the future? It's like, don't ask me questions about kidneys. Just don't.
Right.
So I was a bit of a nervous wreck. Very emotional. I think maybe 2 months afterwards, I would cry for no reason other than the fact that, did I just do what I just did? Like, did a surgeon operate on me? I still see the scars today, and it still haunts me that I did what I did. It's settled down a bit now, but then it was so raw. I felt so vulnerable. I felt, like I said, did I make a wrong decision? Did I do something wrong? And yeah.
Wow. Now, how did you push through that moment?
I can't ignore the fact that there was our Heavenly Father's hand working through it all. That's not something that I will ever speak about, just on walking on eggshells, because it was just because of him as well, that we made it through. His hand was literally in it from the very beginning. He knew and orchestrated it in such a way that my mother and I's outcome will be the most successful with no complications, prior to as well as post donation. And just constantly, just seeking out him, praying to him, speaking to my parents. I also managed to get in touch with someone that is from the US, that had donated 2 years post to what I donated, and was more or less the same age as I was. And I chatted to her during the time. What was it like? What did you experience? Just that someone to relate to me the message of, it's going to be okay. This is what it's like, even if it's a bit different. But I have an idea of, okay, I know this is going to happen, or this doesn't happen. Yeah. So basically talking about it, opening up to what I'm feeling, not keeping it in, because that's so important. It's important for you not to bottle things up, as I did. I'm sure if I had someone to talk to from the very beginning, a counselor or someone, I would have dealt with it so much easier than what I had dealt with it, how I dealt with it. Yeah.
Aimee, we have a lot of people who are commenting that would like to keep in touch with you. Now, how can someone keep in touch with you if they get in contact with you if they wanted to?
So you can basically on Instagram, if you have Instagram, you can go and follow me there, and you can send me a message. Or if you don't have Instagram, on Facebook, but it's the same. It's Young Kidney Donors. No spaces on Instagram, so all lower caps, and then
Also,
on
young kidney donors
yeah,
on Facebook.
yeah, on Facebook and on Instagram.
Okay.
I just have a question. So what is the future for young kidney donors? Like, what would you like to see actually happen with this organization?
I I had high expectations of it before. So just want you to know. So I'm studying psychology. I'm doing this is my second year of my master's now. Um,
Mhm.
and I
Congratulations.
thank you so much. And I remember chatting to one of, I went to go speak at an event, and one of the members from the audience came and chatted to me afterwards, just expressing their gratitude of what I've been doing, and like how they're inspired by what I've taken on. And I chatted to them about. I mean, this was over a year ago. I chatted to them about. I mean, who knows? Like maybe I'll start an NGO. Um, like once I'm qualified to be a psychologist, open up my own firm, but specialize in those that are going through the process of donation, as well as the families, and open up counseling to them where they can come and have a chat to me about it, whether it's transplant, whether it's recipients or donors, and then, like I said, the family, or maybe it is that I will work with the hospital or on the hospital staff as the kidney donor psychologist, or that sort of thing, taking it a bit further where I can help a larger group of people in my field that I'm getting a qualification for. Yeah. I mean, but
Wow.
I'd also like to do a lot more talks on these type of things, bringing about the awareness, whether it's at schools. I think kids also need to be aware of organ donation. I mean, I'm not sure where it is, but somewhere it's like mandatory for you to be an organ donor. Here in South Africa, you do it by choice. So, I mean, and there's not a lot of us that are organ donors.
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah.
Aimee, what is the biggest myth about organ donation in South Africa? I mean,
Yeah.
are there any myths concerning kidney and organ donations in South Africa that make people hesitant? Like, for instance, you mentioned you had questions about if you could have kids, or
Mm.
what if you get kidney disease. Do you think
Mm.
these same questions
Yeah.
lie in the mind of
Yeah.
people that may be preventing them from
Yeah.
registering as a kidney donor?
Mm. No, definitely, I think so. I mean, it was clear in the questions they were asking me also that they weren't aware of what the process was like afterwards. I mean, for all, it's like, can you live with just one kidney? I mean, that's probably the most common question as well. Like, I mean, as Tamika said, like she asked, well, so what is it like living with one kidney? I mean, the same goes for these. I mean, my friends and others that ask me, can you even live with one kidney? I mean, I think they have this idea that
Wait a minute, you say, can you love?
yeah, can you live with one kidney?
Oh, live or love?
Yeah, live.
Live, live.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
people a lot of times like they don't focus on the kidneys when they're actually telling you about the body. They focus
yeah.
on the heart and the lungs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people really don't know what their kidneys actually do.
Yeah, they
You
don't.
can live a long, healthy life with just one kidney. But a lot of
Exactly.
people are not aware of the function of their kidneys.
No,
They're
they're
aware of the
not.
function of their heart and their lungs, but they just don't know what their kidneys actually do.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so, it's almost like kidneys are undermined. Like, oh, it's just my kidney. I can live without it. You can't. You cannot live a day without your kidneys. And that people need to know that. They need to know the importance of protecting their kidneys. And if they do have to, there's no harm in sharing your one. There's no harm.
Right. People really need to understand that your kidneys matter. Like once
Yeah, they do.
your kidneys go, you're going to have heart problems.
Yeah.
You're going to wind
Well,
up with fluid. And go ahead, Steve.
no, Tamika, you're right. However, we always talk about the truth centered around kidney disease. And one of the unfortunate stories or things that can happen with someone that's at risk that donates, that they could go on dialysis.
Yeah.
Point in case, I met a gentleman here in Baltimore maybe about 10 years ago at a dialysis center, and he was on dialysis, and he shared his story with me that he donated his kidney to his mom, which lasted 5 years. She ended back on dialysis, and then he ended up on dialysis. And he doesn't want his children to donate because he doesn't want the same thing to happen to them. So I say all that to say that it can happen. I mean, is it likely to happen?
Yeah.
Probably not, but situations like that can happen. And I think that the transplant people should be forthright with everything. I'm not saying that they're not, because I've never been to an evaluation to get evaluated, but some of the stories that I hear, it almost sounds like that the transplant centers, or at least some of them, are not being forthright with everything that goes on with the transplant, specifically like maybe some of the common complications that one may experience, maybe whether it's mental, physical, whatever. But those things need to be laid out so people can know and let people make that decision. Because I know it may scare some people away, but that's where the education comes in, and stories like yours, Aimee, to share to kind of dispel those myths.
Right. And you know what, Steve? Another thing they need to do is like a peer mentor with someone that donated a kidney and talk to a person that's about to donate a kidney.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely, Tamika. Great idea.
For one, like when the doctors come to me as a technician, they're asking me about the care of the patient, what do the patient talk about, or this, that, and the other, because the doctor really don't have a relationship with the patient. And it's just like the person that donates the kidney, after they donate the kidney, they don't really be in contact like that with the doctor anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
They may go to a couple of checkups or whatever, but they're not really hands-on with that patient, because that patient wasn't really their patient. That the donor, the person that received the kidney was their patient. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true.
Right.
Like
yeah, maybe you should have something called transplant pals or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's that? Donor pals.
Yeah.
For people that donated can actually talk about their experiences, what they're going through, if they're going through anything.
I mean, that's all that we need.
Sure.
That's all I needed, just to chat. Literally, just to chat.
Just to see.
Now, Aimee, have you? Go ahead, Tamika.
No, I said she just wanted to chat just to see what she was going through. Was that the normal?
Yeah.
Right. Now, Aimee, have you thought about creating a group to give other people such as yourself a space to chat, to share their experience, strength, and hopes, and whatever they're dealing with pertaining transplant or kidney disease?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that was also something that I suggested after having gone through my 3-month checkup, seeing the social worker. I also expressed my very much what is the word? I was not satisfied with the lack of support that I received as a donor, and he acknowledged that there's a lot of focus that's on the recipient. There was a lot of focus on my mother, as you had said, because the patient, that's their patient more than I am. I'm just coming in to donate the kidney, and I mean, they're making sure that I am, and comfortable and the operation successful, but that's about it. And I explained to him, like, I told him about that I would get triggered when somebody just asked me a simple question. So like, what's it like? Don't ask me that. I'm in this space because I didn't receive counseling. I didn't have someone that I could talk to beforehand, as well as afterwards, to just tell me, this is what it's like. This is what you'll be experiencing, whether it's different or not. I mean, just as long as I have an idea of what is it going to be like afterwards. And I explained to him, like, why don't we just start something like a social group or something, like just a social group on WhatsApp or wherever we, if you choose to, where we just have donors coming forward and chat about it. Just chat, relate each other's experience. I mean, and we started it, but there wasn't someone backing it. There wasn't someone that was, passionate about what was happening to be able to, be persistent and push this thing through. So I definitely agree with you.
Hey, Aimee, don't be discouraged, because it sounds like something we go through here in the United States as well, and trying to get that message. Tamika and I have been doing this for like the last 3 years together. I started advocacy in 2014, and it's a hard battle over here at the grassroots level, trying to really raise awareness. And see, over here, Aimee, let me just show you something right quick on my phone, and it's appalling. And let me just get to it. It's a post of clinics that in Southern California. It's literally a dialysis clinic on every corner. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but these red marks.
Whoa, that is insane. What?
You see all these red dots?
Yeah.
Those are dialysis clinics in Southern California.
Don't even have that.
Wait a minute.
That's an Inglewood.
And for the people who's watching this broadcast that don't have kidney disease, this is what we're talking about. My phone is messed up, my camera. But this is what we're talking about. This is in Southern California.
Inglewood.
Every red dot represents a dialysis clinic. And so, Aimee, you said that the dialysis clinics in South Africa are in hospitals. Can you imagine if there was this many hospitals with dialysis units?
No, I can't.
Wow. So, Aimee, how many years were at that dialysis center your mom attended?
So we were fortunate enough to be at a private dialysis in center, but there was maybe, let's just say, about 10 to 15 beds. Yeah, more or less. Yeah. More or less 10 to 15. I haven't been to a public hospital to see what that's like. But there's basically, is there one? We're speaking about Cape Town now. You can say there's basically just like one hospital in every suburb, if not every suburb, then in a, close to the hospital. There's maybe 2 or 3 suburbs, and then there's one hospital that caters for maybe 2 or 3 suburbs. But we don't have that.
Yeah,
we don't have that.
I know, and I want to say something. If David Chrisman, if you're watching, I just want you to know, I'm coming out there in 2 weeks to Inglewood to document and report on the dialysis clinics in Inglewood, California. David Chrisman, I'm specifically talking to him because he lives out in LA. But also in Inglewood, California, there's 142 dialysis clinics in a 25-mile radius, and there's more dialysis clinics in Inglewood than there are McDonald's. Wow. So this is a what's the word? I mean, this is just horrific here. I mean, it's just crazy how they're making money here off of kidney disease, Aimee, and I'm sure that's not how it's happening in South Africa.
So I just had a question, Aimee. So on the other side of Cape Town, where the poorer side is at, where do they do dialysis at?
So as far as I know, and the information that I have, they do it at the public hospitals, but there's only a certain amount. So basically, if you don't have medical aid, you get turned away. If you don't, I think it's 60. I mean, but sometimes it's even 50. I knew of someone that was 50 and they got turned away simply because they were 50.
Wow.
So it's like,
we need you back on here often.
Because there's like 2 sides of Cape Town that they don't tell us about. You have the suburbs, and then you have down the hill.
Yeah.
And down the hill is where the poorer.
Yeah. I mean, I was chatting to, I met this one guy that was living on the street a couple of years ago, and he was talking to me about his daughter that developed kidney disease. That's insane. That is insane.
Aimee,
keep talking, Aimee.
How does that make you feel looking at that and knowing that that's kidney disease here in the United States?
Well, this is only Southern California.
Only Southern California, Inglewood.
If we had that, if we just had that, I understand also the financial implications that it will have for our country, but I mean that. I'm jealous.
That's how much
it
is.
You will have your work cut out for you here, Aimee.
That's a lot of clinics. That's too many clinics. That's over 200 clinics in a 25-mile radius.
Well, in California, they have a total of 543 in the whole state.
That's crazy.
And this, again, Southern California, half of the state of California has diabetes. And that's what's fueling this, Aimee, diabetes and hypertension. And here, there's 2 companies that is dominating the market: Fresenius Medical Care, which is a German company, and DaVita Dialysis, which is located out of Lakewood, Colorado. And both of these companies are traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So they do have shareholders. So in order to satisfy your shareholders, you got to make money. And how you going to make money if dialysis is your main business? You want people to be on the machine so you can make that's what we're trying to get across to people, specifically dealing with type 2 diabetes and hypertension. We can't do anything about genetic, like if you're born with polycystic or some type of genetic or other disease that may cause kidney damage. But with diabetes and hypertension, those are the 2 leading causes here in the United States that's fueling all these clinics like this. And now this is just Southern California, but even where I am in DC, where I live, I don't live in a poor neighborhood, and it's 10 clinics within a 5-minute radius where I live. And we're not in like no ghetto or anything like that. It's middle class.
Sure.
Well, I am in the ghetto, and there is clinics within, some clinics are within a block from each other on one side of Market, and then there's a clinic maybe 4 blocks up the street from me, and then there's a clinic like 7
Just
blocks.
dialysis, just for dialysis.
Yes,
yes.
just for dialysis. It's crazy.
Insane.
And Aimee, that's why we do these shows. That's why we have people on like yourself, to share your experience, to show other people pertaining to kidney donation, and what the donors go through, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Because you got to know all sides of the story. So
you do.
We think so a person can be well informed of what they're getting into. Even with dialysis, a lot of the doctors don't tell the patients when they're in a hospital that they can do home dialysis, because they want to steer them into the clinic, because that's where they make the money.
Yes.
But they do steer certain patients to home dialysis. There's certain stature of patients that they do steer to home dialysis, and those are the ones with money.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just off the charts over here. And I know different countries have their own challenges and struggles with kidney disease, but here in the United States, because it's a capitalistic country, healthcare, you would think the prices would go down so people can afford medication and treatment, but it's totally the opposite, where the prices are up. Bottle of insulin that may have cost $20 at one time being sold for $200. And a lot of people can't afford that to have diabetes. And so it's just a bad situation that we're trying to add our part through the awareness and education by doing these shows and having people such as yourself on here to keep spreading the word and awareness, especially with what your organization does.
All for the cause, all for it. I mean, how many? Like, I saw one of the comments over here. People fear what is misunderstood. I mean, that is so true. I mean, before my mother was diagnosed, I didn't know what my kidneys do. I mean, I undermined the role of my kidneys and what it played in my body. I mean, there was a lot of focus on my heart and so forth. Yes, wealth is first health. Yeah, definitely. And I undermined, the role of my kidneys. It wasn't until my mother was diagnosed that I realized, hey, wait, you actually can't live a day without your kidneys. Your kidneys are actually important. Understanding that role that they play, and I mean, that will come in with that fear that you maybe have from misunderstanding the way that your kidneys work, or what is life like living with my kidney afterwards. I feel like that will all be solved should you just have the awareness, should you just be educated about what is it like, what are the details. And this comes in with the donor piles, with the information that you see from such talks that we are having. And such as your NGO that you have, just bringing people together, spreading the message, getting out there, this is what's up. This is what it's like. So, yeah.
So do you have a lot of followers on Instagram?
I have about, I think at current I have 200. When I started this initiative, I felt very demotivated because I didn't have the support that I envisioned when I started out, and that really caused me to not back my own initiative, because I was expecting people to, oh my word, Aimee, this is something that you're doing. like, how can I help you? But I didn't get that. And I felt, what's the point? I'm trying to push this initiative. I'm trying to push this message, but nobody's seeming to appreciate it. It wasn't until I started really backing it this year, and since lockdown started, that I've really, brought about a bit of more traffic on my page, getting people and getting in touch with the right people who can, help me to spread my message, such as this. If it wasn't for all the posts that I had posted, I wouldn't have, got into contact with you, Tamika and Steve. So for that, I'm really grateful. And I mean, I can only, just take it slow with what the future will hold for this initiative.
Yeah. And you know what, Aimee, don't give up. Steve and I, we go through this a lot. We give out a lot of information, and we feel like no one's listening, or they don't want the information. Get frustrated. And even me, sometimes I just be like, you know what, I'm done. Because we don't get paid for this. Steve is a nurse, and there's no one in our profession that's actually doing this. And it does get frustrating. It does make you want to throw up your hands, but don't, because even if you reach one person, you created your mission. You did your mission.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's what it's about. We speaking to a very specific group of people, and we need to remember that when going about sharing. It's not that we want, a million followers. It's not that we want a million people to see. There will be a million people, but there will maybe be a handful of that a million that will actually appreciate what we're doing because it speaks to them.
Right. And you said the perfect word, appreciation. It makes you feel like you're doing something when someone actually says thank you,
Yeah.
But when you feel like you're not appreciated, it kind of makes you want to stop.
Yeah. And you know what I've done of recently? I mean, I've gotten like maybe 1 or 2 messages here and there, people saying that I actually like what I'm doing, I'm inspiring them. And I didn't think anything of it. I just started getting the hang of it and put more effort into it. And then people came back and they said, oh wow, like I actually see you, like I see what you're doing, and I feel very inspired. And that just one message just somehow keeps me going, keeps me staying on the cause, committed to it and seeing it through. So, I mean, that's been working for me. Yeah.
But don't give up, and we don't want to hold you anymore because I know that it is 2:00 in the morning where you're at. So I want you to get rest.
Thank you.
But we do appreciate taking time out of your night where you should be asleep, but you're up to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Because it's
and
important.
And I'd like to just say one
again.
thing to Aimee. Yeah, Aimee, if there's anything that we can do to help you further your cause and mission, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We feel connected with you now, an ally in kidney disease advocacy. It doesn't matter that you're in South Africa and we're here. We're all doing the same thing, and hopefully we can connect and take it globally. And that's what it takes. Different, it's not us against them, and we, you doing your thing. We're trying to connect together so we can make a global impact.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with you.
Together.
Yeah, we are. The more we have.
Let me put your information up there one more time, because a lot of people want to get in contact with you and reach out on Facebook. Here it is, Young Kidney Donors on Facebook and Instagram if you want to reach Aimee. We know you tired. We can see it in you. So, look, thank you, Aimee. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
so much for taking the time and staying up. Come on.
And we will.
All right, we'll see you later.
Yes. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hey, Tamika, this was an awesome show. Like I said, you be picking them right out the park. I mean, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, and guys, look, go and sign this petition, share it. You've seen the picture
That can
right there.
Steve, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
This is.
No one has yet sounded the damn alarm on that right there. That's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous, Tamika. I mean, it's like appalling. And that's why I'm going out there in 2 weeks.
But Steve,
I'm going to report on that.
why haven't no news been featured on that? Like, who's not seeing that?
I don't know. They got to know that it's going on, Tamika. I mean, who doesn't know or can't see? Like, here's an interactive map. I mean, you're going to tell me if you in Southern California, you're not going to notice a dialysis clinic? I mean, in Inglewood, you got more of them than McDonald's.
That's crazy. That's sad. And that's our future.
I would be scared if I lived out Southern California, because I would think I would get kidney disease.
It's the norm, Steve. That's the norm out there. I bet you everyone knows someone that goes to dialysis.
That know someone
that goes
yes.
to dialysis. I bet you. And this the norm.
So this is what we're advocating about.
So Steve, you know what? It's the norm. So why would they sound the alarm? It's normal.
That is just absolutely ridiculous. And I wonder how many are next to family.
How many next to family died?
That would be interesting to see when I go out there, Tamika. Yeah, that how many are next to Family Dollar.
Anyway,
is that fireworks?
That's fireworks or gunshots, one or the other. I don't know. But
Audrey says, "Wow, was you talking about the sound or the dialysis clinics? That was fireworks in Tamika. But if you're talking about this, Audrey, the red dots represent dialysis clinics in Southern California. All those red dots.
So that tells you there's no education. There's no education on kidney disease, diabetes, or hypertension out there. It can't be.
Especially with diabetes and hypertension.
Those are the clinics.
Yes, these are the clinics in Southern California. In fact, in Inglewood, there's 142 clinics in a 25-mile radius. And that's on Medicare.gov compare.
How much you want to bet there's some by a liquor store? Want to put some money on it, Steve?
Oh, I'm sure. Again, here go the interactive map.
But I bet you
the red dots represent dialysis clinics.
Steve, I bet you there's none by a Target.
Well, I'm going to find out.
Dialysis center by Whole Foods.
We're going to find out. Wow.
This show is live.
It sounds like you in Chirac. It sounds like you in Iraq.
All right, if I just move away from this camera real quick, forgive me, y'all, because I may throw this laptop if it
Is that shooting or fireworks? Was that shooting or fireworks?
I don't know, but I think I need to go in the house.
Yeah. Hey, Tay Veezy. Tay Veezy. Check it out, Tay.
No, honey,
I saw you singing, bro. Hey, Tay, I saw your singing in your studio, man. That's good work. But this is out in California, Southern California. These are dialysis clinics, bro. This is just absolutely appalling.
Steve, let's do a show on that tomorrow, maybe like 10, 15 minutes where we can actually show that live. Because that's crazy. I said, let's do a show for maybe like 10 minutes tomorrow, just showing that and showing the whole list of the Medicaid clinics. You know how they do the scroll of all the Medicaid clinics within 25 miles. Because that's crazy. That is
right. It is.
All right, I gotta go. The block.
All right, guys.
I don't know what is going on. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to end the show. Yes. But again, share this broadcast, share this link, www.change.org/educate the community. Let's hold these big companies accountable for kidney disease awareness. You saw that list.
Lack of awareness.
And yeah, you saw that list. And 70% of those units are for seniors and DaVitas.
Yes.
So, you're welcome, Tay. Thanks for coming on the show. I see you got a little album cover picture. All right. I ain't mad at you. You're going to do a show once you get set up. We're going to do a little show for you. Come on and entertain the kidney disease community, bro. Audrey says, be safe, Tamika.
I'm about to go right in this house and be safe.
Those are fun shots. Stay safe. I hope nobody's shooting up in the air because those bullets do come down.
I don't know what they're doing, but I'm not gonna go peek around like on a damn movie. I'm taking my behind in the house. I'm not gonna be in the movie.
Right. Right. So again, guys, thanks for joining us. Again, I'm going to head out California, July the 9th on Thursday on the land in Inglewood, and we're going to find out what's going on with this.
Yes, that right there is ridiculous. That's really sad. I'm going to do some research on that tonight. And
here go the title. Dialysis center on every corner in Southern California. We're not faking. We're telling you the truth. Those who watching that are not on dialysis, this is serious. The time has come. We've been doing this together for over 50 years. And it's never been like this. And there's never been two people or even one person that advocates as much as we advocate. That's why we say the time has come.
Wake up, America.
Everything comes together and the time has come. If you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that has diabetes or hypertension, now is the time to reach out and make them aware and share these broadcasts, because these clinics are not going anywhere. The COVID, it may die down, flatten the curve with the COVID. You can't flatten the curve once you get on dialysis.
Steve, and actually the curve is not being flattened. More and more people are getting COVID.
Hey, and we didn't even talk about the acute kidney disease from COVID. That's why these clinics are popping up like that.
Let me tell you, Steve, we got a pandemic and an epidemic going on at the same damn time. Ain't nobody talking about
it. Yeah, and I didn't even think about it, but that's it. A pandemic and an epidemic at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to let Tamika get in the house. We're going to end the show. Thank you guys for watching Urban Renal Talk with Tamika and Steve.
I said and Steve like I'm Steve. And Steve, you Tamika Steve.
Yeah, but you got to work tomorrow?
No, I just work today.
All right, so let's link up tomorrow and talk about what you were saying about focusing a 10, 15 minute, maybe 30-minute broadcast on these clinics in Inglewood. There's more clinics than there are McDonald's. Again, this is a travesty in itself. Dialysis center on every corner in Southern California.
Wow, so sad. So sad. So
it is.
Everyone remember, your kidneys matter and organ donors matter too.
Absolutely. Take care. God bless and good night. See you, Tamika.
Good night.